the Dragonov, the Iris, or aka WA 2000. What do these two snipers have in common? They are all semi-auto snipers that fire rapidly fast and are easily accessible within prestige 0 to 1 area. So, what semi-auto sniper is superior out of these two? Well, we're about to find out. First up, we'll talk about the Dragonov, which has 75, 75, 150 for its damages, and it fires up to 110 RPM. It has a default magazine of 10, which can be increased with extended mags up to 20 rounds in the mag, which makes it 2.6 reload time, but in default it's 2-second reload time, 7 hipfire spread, 9.4 mobility, and I'm pretty sure this is the same thing, but 2 piercing, which can go up to triple class. So one unique thing about this sniper, besides the 20 round extended mag, is that the unique attachments can only increase flinch resistance or decrease it, which, to be honest, when I used the Dragonov with those attachments, it barely did anything. But yeah, other than that, for a rank 0 sniper, it is a good way to start sniping with it. The Iris, on the other hand, is able to fire 165 RPM by default and have a 2.1 second reload time while having a 6 round magazine by default. It may seem a bit weaker than Dragonov, but when focusing on the fire rate, it actually is pretty deadly, in my opinion. The mobility is also quite slower as well compared to Dragonov, with 88 mobility. And like I said before, the piercing is the same thing. Piercing of 2, it can triple clat, but here's where it gets unique compared to Dragonov. At minimum ranges, it does 85, 110, 180. While at further ranges, it's 72, 94, 153, which means that it can't 2-tap range limb all ranges while having fast fire rate, which makes sense in a balance standpoint. It also has a hipfire spread of 8, which has bloom, aka it will have even more hipfire if you keep firing by the hipfire. It unlocks at prestige 1 level 25, which is also pretty low. The attachments for this one is a lot more unique, and for the ammo attachments, if you want an extended mag with the same exact fire rate, aka default rounds, you could go up to 12 rounds, and it does slow down your reload time by 2.42. For the unique attachments like stock, it actually has interesting upsides and downsides, but I would avoid them as much as possible, except for I guess extended stock. There's also barrel attachments, where in my opinion the best one is tactical barrel. But yeah, other than that, the rest of the other attachments for 2 of the snipers, they're pretty much the same thing, except Iris is able to use iron sights, but that's about it. So yeah. Now, when comparing ADS times, you could see that they both are kinda similar. Knowing about the ideal setups in mind, when we compare ADS times, it is also kinda identical, except Iris is a bit slow. If we're talking about clips, I feel like the Iris triumphs over Dragonov, because in terms of Dragonov, it can possibly go up to 5 on times 2. While the Iris, it can possibly go up to 6 on times 2.
Ooh, 5 on, 6 on, yo! Oh my god, 6 on times 2!
Which is even more insane considering how fast it can spam. And it's like more forgiving in comparison to the Dragonov. When comparing actual game matches in terms of, you know, kills and deaths, I've noticed that the Iris is actually a lot better in my opinion, because it actually outperforms Dragonov in terms of match performance. They both indeed do rely on hard scoping, but even regarding that, Iris still triumphs because of the faster fire rate. even with slower muzzle velocity, it really doesn't matter. However, in terms of in-depth comparison, you gotta know that the Iris fires slower muzzle velocity in comparison to Dragonov. When comparing both snipers, I noticed that the Dragonov performs the best in very long range based maps like Legacy Arena. However, like I said before, Iris can 3-tap limb at far ranges, so it's barely useful in terms of far range maps. In terms of close to medium range maps, however, it is a beast. Like, it is quite unstoppable. Now, knowing the ideal setups for two of the snipers, I noticed that the Iris is able to reload faster while Dragonov reloads slower. That's mainly because Dragonov has way bigger capacity while Iris has slower. What do I think overall? Well, in my opinion, it is really situational. Like, if you're sniping in very far ranges, like in Legacy Arena, like I said before, you might as well use Dragonov because it consistently 2-taps limb all ranges, while the Iris 3-taps at very far ranges. So you might as well use the Iris in close to medium range maps so you can keep your 2-tap limb and torso consistency while not having to worry about far ranges, like, you know, live fire. And yeah, that's all for me. In terms of actually picking one, I would actually stick to Iris because it is actually the most forgiving sniper rifle. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a great summer and see y'all next time.